The stars shone brightly against the deep black of space. Patrol ship Harmony glided smoothly between systems, its sensors sweeping the void. Inside, Senior Monitor Zarek stood watching the main display, his four-fingered hand resting lightly on the console. For 300 years he had made this patrol route. For 300 years nothing of note had happened. Another peaceful shift, his second-in-command commented. Zarek nodded. Peace was the way of the galaxy now. 2,000 species working together, sharing knowledge, resolving disputes through talk rather than weapons. The Galactic Council had maintained this harmony for over 5,000 years. Sir, called the sensor officer, her voice cutting through Zarek's thoughts. I'm picking up an unusual energy reading. Zarek moved to her station. Source? A small solar system near the edge of our patrol zone. She adjusted the sensors. System has been classified as containing pre-FTL civilization. Developing world not due for contact consideration for another 3 centuries. Zarek frowned. The energy signature? Unknown, sir. But it's creating ripples in space-time that our sensors can detect from here. Change course, Zarek ordered. Let's take a closer look. On Earth, Captain Gregory Walsh stood on the observation deck of Space Station Freedom, watching through the reinforced glass as technicians made final preparations to the ship below. The ESV Horizon wasn't the largest vessel humans had built, but it was by far the most important. Beautiful, isn't she? Said a voice beside him. Walsh turned to see Dr. Elaine Porter, the woman whose discovery had changed everything. That she is Doctor? Hard to believe what's inside that ordinary-looking hull. Porter smiled, pushing a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Nothing ordinary about the drive. If our calculations are correct, the Horizon will reach Saturn in less than 20 minutes, then return just as quickly. And if your calculations are wrong? Walsh asked. Then we've wasted 10 years and $50 billion building a very expensive paperweight. Porter's smile faded slightly. But they're not wrong. The math checks out. Walsh nodded. As Earth's top test pilot, he had been selected to command this historic mission, humanity's first faster-than-light vessel. The implications were enormous. If successful, the stars themselves would finally be within reach. Launch is scheduled for 800 hours tomorrow, Walsh said. My crew is ready, are you? Porter looked at the ship again. I've been ready my whole life, Captain. Neither of them knew that across the galaxy, eyes were turning toward Earth for the first time in centuries. The control room buzzed with activity as the final countdown began. Dr. Porter sat beside General Alan Morgan, head of the United Earth Space Command. On the main screen, they could see Walsh and his crew of 5 strapped into their seats aboard the Horizon. T-minus 60 seconds, announced the flight director. Porter clutched her tablet tightly. The dark energy drive had been her life's work, though she had never intended it for space travel. Her research into sustainable energy had accidentally uncovered the principles that allowed for the warping of spacetime. When the military implications became clear, her small university lab had quickly been replaced by this massive government facility. T-minus 30 seconds. Nervous? General Morgan asked her. Terrified, Porter admitted. But excited too. T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8. The Horizon's conventional engines fired, lifting it away from the docking station. 3, 2, 1. Mark. On the screen, Walsh's hand moved to a panel of blue switches. Initiating dark energy drive, he reported calmly. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the space around the Horizon appeared to bend like light passing through water. The ship stretched impossibly and then vanished. The control room erupted in cheers, but Porter remained focused on her readings. Drive engaged successfully, she reported. All signatures nominal. They're on their way to Saturn. Now came the wait. 20 minutes that would change human history forever. Exactly 18 minutes later, sensors detected the space-time distortion that signaled the Horizon's return. The ship reappeared exactly where expected, seemingly unchanged by its journey. Walsh's voice came through the speakers, steady as always. but with an undercurrent of excitement. Mission Control, this is Horizon. We have visually confirmed Saturn and successfully orbited the planet. Travel time was 17 minutes 28 seconds each way. The dark energy drive performed flawlessly. The control room exploded in celebration. People hugged, cried, and cheered. Humanity had finally broken the light-speed barrier. The impossible was now possible. General Morgan shook Porter's hand firmly. "Congratulations, Doctor. You've just changed the course of human history." Porter smiled, but something nagged at her. The drive had performed better than expected. Too perfectly, in fact. Her calculations had predicted certain fluctuations that hadn't materialized. It was as if the drive knew exactly what it was supposed to do, beyond what her equations had specified. Aboard the patrol ship Harmony, Zarek watched the sensor readings with growing concern. "Impossible," muttered his science officer. "A species at their development stage shouldn't have this technology. They've barely established colonies on their neighboring planets." "And yet they do have it," Zarek replied. "The question is how." The science officer looked up from her instruments. "The drive they're using isn't just bending space, Zarek. It's tearing it. Each activation creates microscopic ruptures in the fabric of space-time." "Dangerous? 1 or 2 jumps? No, but if they start using this technology regularly, building more ships with this drive..." She didn't need to finish the thought. Zarek made his decision. "Send a message to the Council, Priority 1. Include all sensor data." As they waited for a response, Harmony moved closer to Earth, remaining cloaked. They watched as the human ship returned to its station, observed the celebrations that followed. These humans had no idea what they had stumbled upon. The Council's response came 12 hours later. "Initiate first contact protocol immediately. Technology containment is primary objective. Prevent proliferation at all costs." Zarek read between the lines. The Council, normally patient and methodical, was worried. Very worried. "Prepare for contact approach," he ordered. "Let's hope these humans are reasonable." 1 week after the Horizon's successful test, Walsh sat in a briefing room with Earth's top military and political leaders. The mood was jubilant as they discussed plans for building an entire fleet of dark energy ships. The first colony vessels could be ready within 5 years. An admiral was saying, "We could reach Alpha Centauri in days instead of generations." Porter, sitting quietly at the end of the table, raised her hand. "I think we should run more tests before scaling production. There are aspects of the drive's performance I don't fully understand yet." General Morgan frowned. "Your concerns are noted, Doctor, but the successful test speaks for itself. The President has made this our top priority." The discussion continued, but Porter's attention was drawn to a young lieutenant who had burst into the room, whispering urgently to General Morgan. The general's face went pale. "Ladies and gentlemen," Morgan announced, silencing the room. "We've just received word from our lunar outpost. An unidentified vessel has decloaked in Earth orbit. It's not one of ours." The room fell silent. "They're broadcasting a message on all frequencies," the lieutenant added, in perfect English. Walsh locked eyes with Porter across the table. The message appeared on the main screen for all to see. "People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Council, a union of civilized worlds. Your recent technological development has come to our attention. We come in peace to discuss matters of grave importance to both our peoples. Please respond." Humanity's first faster-than-light journey had not gone unnoticed. The galaxy had been sleeping peacefully until now. Lieutenant Frank Daniels was the first human to see the alien ship up close. Standing at the viewport of the small shuttle sent to meet the visitors, he couldn't help but stare. The alien vessel was smooth and curved, with no visible engines or weapons. It seemed to glow slightly as if the metal itself was alive. "Still think this is some kind of joke, Lieutenant?" asked Captain Walsh from the pilot's seat. "No, sir," Daniels replied. "Definitely not a joke." The shuttle approached a section of the alien ship that had opened like a flower. Inside was a docking bay, large enough for their small craft. Walsh guided the shuttle in carefully. following the path of soft lights that appeared on the bay floor. "Remember," Walsh said to his small team, "we're representing all of humanity. Let's try not to start an interstellar war on our first day." Dr. Porter adjusted the tablet in her hands nervously. She had insisted on joining the first contact team, over General Morgan's objections. If the aliens wanted to discuss the dark energy drive, no one understood it better than she did. The shuttle landed gently. Through the viewport, they could see a group of figures waiting for them. "Well," Walsh said, standing up, "let's go meet the neighbors." Zarek watched the humans emerge from their primitive craft. They moved cautiously, their body language showing a mixture of fear and excitement. The translation systems had already analyzed enough of Earth's broadcasts to allow for basic communication. The tallest human male stepped forward. "I'm Captain Gregory Walsh of Earth's Space Force. We come in peace and friendship." Zarek inclined his head slightly. "I am Senior. Monitor Zarek of the Galactic Council patrol ship Harmony. We also come in peace." The human female with light-colored hair stepped forward. "I'm Dr. Elaine Porter, the developer of our new drive system." This caught Zarek's attention. This small, fragile-looking human had created the technology that threatened the fabric of reality. "It is specifically your drive system that we wish to discuss, Dr. Porter." The humans were led to a meeting room designed to accommodate their physical needs. The ship's systems had created furniture suited to human bodies based on observations of their broadcasts. Once seated, Walsh spoke again. "We're honored to make first contact with your civilization. We have many questions." "As do we," Zarek replied. "But first we must address the immediate concern. Your dark energy drive technology poses a significant danger." The humans exchanged glances. "Danger?" Porter asked. "Our tests showed the drive performed perfectly." Zarek gestured, and a holographic display appeared above the table. It showed a visualization of space-time, with small tears appearing like tiny wounds. "Your drive does not simply bend space," Zarek explained. "It tears it. Each activation creates microscopic ruptures in reality itself." Porter leaned forward, studying the display with intense interest. "We detected no such ruptures in our tests. Your instruments are not advanced enough to detect them," Zarek said, "but they exist, and they grow with each use of the drive." Walsh frowned. "What exactly are you suggesting?" "The Galactic Council requests that Earth immediately cease all use of the dark energy drive and share all research so that we can help you develop safer alternatives." The human's expressions hardened. Walsh sat straighter in his chair. "You're asking us to give up our greatest technological breakthrough and hand over all our research to people we just met?" Zarek sensed the growing tension. "We understand this is difficult, but this technology is dangerous not just to Earth but to the entire galaxy." "Or maybe," said the third human, a red-haired woman Zarek had learned was Earth's security advisor, "you just don't want humans moving into your neighborhood too quickly." Back on Earth, President Laura Hill listened to the recording of the meeting with growing concern. Around her sat the emergency response team, hastily assembled to handle the first contact situation. "They want our technology," said Admiral Peter Garcia, his voice hard. "This danger story is just an excuse." Hill wasn't so sure. Dr. Porter seemed troubled by their explanation. "Could there be any truth to it?" General Morgan shook his head. "Porter is brilliant but naive. These aliens show up the moment we achieve faster-than-light travel and immediately ask us to hand it over? The timing is too convenient." The door opened and Walsh entered with Porter and the rest of the contact team. They had returned to Earth to report in person while the alien ship waited in orbit. "Madam President," Walsh said with a nod, "the aliens have provided Dr. Porter with technical data about the supposed dangers of our drive." All eyes turned to Porter. She looked tired, her face pale. "I've reviewed their data," she said, "and I've compared it to our own test results. There are discrepancies I can't explain." "What kind of discrepancies?" Hill asked. "The drive performed better than my calculations predicted. Much better." Porter brought up diagrams on the room's main screen. "According to Zarek's data, the Drive creates tiny tears in space-time. If these tears grow or multiply with continued use, if, Garcia interrupted, we have only their word that these tears exist or are dangerous. Porter frowned. I'm not saying we should trust them completely, but we should at least verify. The Chinese and Russians are already working on their own versions of the drive. Morgan cut in. If we halt our program based on alien warnings, we'll be at a strategic disadvantage. Hill rubbed her temples. The weight of this decision was enormous. What do the aliens propose exactly? They want us to cease all drive tests while they help us develop alternative FTL technology, Walsh replied. Technology, they say, is safer but slower. Convenient, Garcia muttered. Hill stood up. I need to speak with the full Security Council before making any decisions. In the meantime, Dr. Porter, continue analyzing their data. See if you can independently verify their claims. And the drive tests? Morgan asked. Hill hesitated only briefly. Continue as scheduled, but quietly. If these aliens are telling the truth, we need to know. If they're not... She left the sentence unfinished, but everyone understood. Earth needed to be prepared just in case. Zarek received the humans' message with disappointment but not surprise. They wanted more time to study the situation before making any commitments. They don't believe us, his second-in-command said. They're afraid, Zarek corrected. Fear often manifests as suspicion. The Council won't wait forever. If humans continue using the drive, Zarek nodded grimly. I know. Prepare a detailed report on all human military capabilities. Include their political divisions and technological development rate. Through the view screen, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the blackness of space. So much life, so much potential, and so much danger. In her private lab, Porter worked through the night, analyzing the alien data against her own findings. The more she studied, the more troubled she became. The equations the aliens had provided explained the drive's unexpectedly perfect performance. It wasn't working correctly. It was working too correctly. When she finally saw the pattern in the tears, her blood ran cold. They weren't random. They were forming a specific arrangement in space-time like pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together. She reached for her secure phone to call Walsh, then hesitated. Who could she trust with this information? The military wanted to use the drive regardless of risk. The politicians were focused on Earth's advantage. And the aliens? Did they know the full truth? As dawn broke over the horizon, Porter came to a decision. She copied her findings to a secure drive and deleted the originals. Whatever was happening, she needed more information before anyone used the dark energy drive again. But she was too late. At that very moment, Admiral Garcia was overseeing the launch of Earth's second dark energy vessel, the ESV Defiant. Unlike the Horizon, this ship was built for more than just testing. It carried weapons. The nightmare was about to begin. News of the alien contact spread across Earth like wildfire. Videos of the Harmony orbiting Earth appeared on every screen worldwide. Some people celebrated, others panicked, but everyone agreed. Everything had changed. In Washington, D.C., President Hill addressed the United Nations through a secure video link. The Galactic Council has expressed concerns about our new drive technology, she explained carefully. While we take these concerns seriously, we must also protect Earth's interests. We cannot simply surrender our greatest technological achievement based solely on their claims. The room erupted in debate. Nations that had been left out of the drive development demanded equal access. Countries with their own programs insisted they would continue regardless of alien warnings. From his command center, Admiral Garcia watched with satisfaction. The political chaos was exactly what he had expected. It gave him the cover he needed. Status of the Defiant? He asked his aide. Ready for second test jump, sir. All systems go. Garcia nodded. Proceed with the mission as planned. On a screen behind him, Earth's second dark energy ship prepared to make its jump to Mars. Unlike the Horizons test, this one would not be announced publicly. Commander Nicole West settled into the captain's chair of the ESV Defiant. At 42, she had spent most of her life in space, commanding everything from small orbital stations to nuclear submarines before they were decommissioned. But nothing compared to this ship. Drive charging at 80%, reported her pilot. Ready for jump in 30 seconds. West glanced around the bridge at her hand-picked crew. They all knew the stakes. This wasn't just another test flight. It was humanity's insurance policy against alien threats. Remember, once we reach Mars orbit, activate the stealth systems immediately, West instructed. We don't know if the aliens can track the drive signature yet. Drive at full charge, called the pilot. Ready to jump on your command. West took a deep breath. Engage. The familiar stretching sensation washed over them as space-time bent around the ship. Then, in what felt like a heartbeat, Mars filled their view screen. Stealth systems activated, announced the tactical officer. No sign of pursuit or alien presence in the area. West allowed herself a small smile. Begin deployment of the communication relays. If Earth needs us, we'll be ready. In her apartment, Dr. Porter worked frantically on her private computer. After discovering the pattern in the space-time tiers, she had gone into hiding. Not officially, she still showed up at her lab, still attended meetings. But her real work happened here, away from watching eyes. Her screen showed a simulation of the tiers created by the dark energy drive. With each activation, they grew, slightly larger and more numerous. More troubling was their arrangement. They formed a distinct pattern, like a massive net being woven through space-time, a pattern that couldn't possibly be accidental. Her secure phone rang, startling her. Only 3 people had this number. Porter, she answered cautiously. It's Walsh. We need to talk, not over the phone. 20 minutes later, Porter opened her door to find Walsh looking tired and tense. Garcia launched another ship, he said without preamble. The Defiant. It's already reached Mars. Porter felt her stomach drop. They can't keep using the drive. My latest calculations confirm what Zarek was saying. The tiers are real, and they're growing. Walsh ran a hand through his hair. That's not all. The aliens know about the launch. They've sent a message demanding all drive tests stop immediately, or they'll take action to protect the galaxy. We need to tell the president what I've found, Porter insisted, leading Walsh to her computer. Look at this pattern. These tiers aren't random damage, they're forming a specific configuration in space-time. Walsh studied the screen. What does it mean? I don't know exactly, but I think... Porter hesitated. I think the drive is doing exactly what it was designed to do, just not by us. Aboard the Harmony, Zarek received the Council's final decision with a heavy heart. They've authorized containment protocol, his second-in-command said quietly. Zarek nodded. Inform the human authorities. Give them 6 hours to cease all drive operations and surrender existing vessels. And if they refuse? Zarek looked at the beautiful blue planet on his screen. Then we do what we must to protect the galaxy, even from itself. President Hill stared at the alien message on her screen, then at Porter's findings beside it. You're telling me our miraculous drive technology might be some kind of trap? She asked incredulously. Porter nodded. The mathematics don't lie. The pattern is too precise to be natural damage. Something is using our drive activations to create a specific configuration in spacetime. General Morgan frowned. Even if that's true, surrendering to alien demands is out of the question. The Chinese launched their own drive test an hour ago. The Russians will follow soon. We can't put Earth's security in alien hands. And we can't risk whatever is happening with these tiers, Porter countered. Each activation makes them larger. If they connect... Hill held up her hand. What exactly are you proposing, Doctor? Let me contact Zarek. Show him what I've found. Maybe together we can figure out what's really happening here. Walsh stood beside Porter. I agree with Dr. Porter. These aliens haven't attacked us despite having the technology to do so easily. They've been trying to warn us. Hill was silent for a long moment. Make the contact, she finally said. But unofficially, I can't be seen cooperating with aliens while other nations are pushing ahead. On Mars orbit, Commander West received new orders from Admiral Garcia personally. We're detecting alien movements near Jupiter, Garcia told her. They're establishing some kind of blockade. Your new mission is to gather intelligence on their capabilities. Understood, sir, West replied. Should we engage if discovered? Garcia's expression was grim. Use your judgment, Commander, but remember, we can't show weakness. Earth is counting on you. After the transmission ended, West turned to her crew. Prepare for jump to Jupiter. Orbit. Weapons on standby. The first tier fully opened near Jupiter's moon Europa. It wasn't large, barely 50 meters across, but it was stable. Through it came something that had waited patiently for millennia. It had no proper shape, existing partly in this reality and partly beyond it. To human eyes, it might have appeared as a shimmer in space, a distortion that hurt to look at directly. The entity sensed the nearby mass of Jupiter, rich with energy it could consume. It sensed the small moon Europa, with its ocean of water beneath the ice. Water that contained simple life forms, perfect for seeding. Most importantly, it sensed the humans approaching in their ship carrying the very tool that had opened the way. More tools would follow. More tiers would open. After so long, the feeding could begin again. The Defiant emerged from its jump near Jupiter, immediately activating its stealth systems. Scan for alien vessels, West ordered. Her science officer frowned at his display. I'm detecting unusual energy readings near Europa, but no ships. Something's distorting our sensors. West moved to look over his shoulder. Some kind of cloaking technology? I don't think so. This looks more like... He stopped, adjusting the sensors. Commander, I think you should see this. On the main screen appeared an image of space near Europa. At first it seemed normal. Then they noticed the stars behind one section were wrong, twisted, as if being viewed through broken glass. What is that? West whispered. Before anyone could answer, the distortion moved, directly toward them. Evasive maneuvers, West shouted. The ship lurched sideways, but the strange distortion changed course to follow. It moved faster than should have been possible, covering the distance in seconds. When it touched the Defiant's hull, every alarm on the ship began to scream. Power fluctuations. Throughout all systems, called the engineer. Something's draining our energy. West hit the emergency broadcast button. This is Commander West of the Defiant. We are under attack by an unknown entity near Europa. Repeat, unknown entity. The transmission cut off abruptly as the ship's power failed completely. In the darkness of the bridge, the crew could only watch as cracks of light began to spread across the hull, leaking into the ship like glowing veins. The nightmare had truly awakened, and it was hungry. The emergency signal from the Defiant reached Earth 8 minutes after transmission. Admiral Garcia listened to Commander West's cut-off message with a grim expression. Play it again, he ordered. His staff exchanged worried glances as West's voice once more filled the room. This is Commander West of the Defiant. We are under attack by an unknown entity near Europa. Repeat, unknown entity. Could it be the aliens? Asked his aide. Garcia shook his head. The Harmony is still in Earth orbit. This is something else. He made a quick decision. Contact the President and find Dr. Porter. Now. Porter and Walsh had just arrived at a secure facility to establish contact with Zarek when they were intercepted by military personnel. Dr. Porter, Captain Walsh, you need to come with us immediately, the lead officer said. Admiral Garcia's orders. We have authorization from the President, Walsh objected. The situation has changed, sir. We've lost contact with the Defiant. 20 minutes later, they were escorted into a crisis room where President Hill, Admiral Garcia, and other top officials were already gathered. On the main screen was the last transmission from the Defiant playing on a loop. What happened to my ship? Garcia demanded as soon as Porter entered. I don't know, Porter replied honestly. But I can guess. She connected her tablet to the main display. The tears in space-time have been forming a pattern. I believe the first complete tear has opened near Jupiter. And what came through? Hill asked quietly. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's what the drive was designed to let in. Garcia slammed his hand on the table. Designed by who? You created the drive. Porter shook her head. I thought I did, but the mathematics were too perfect, too convenient. I think the information was planted waiting for someone to discover it. A young officer burst into the room. Madam President, the alien vessel is hailing us. They're requesting to speak with Dr. Porter specifically. All eyes turned to Porter. Hill nodded. Put it through. Zarek's face appeared on the screen. Even with his alien features, his concern was clear. Dr. Porter, we have detected a level 5 breach near your Jupiter planet. You must cease all dark energy drive operations immediately. One of our ships was attacked near Europa, Porter told him. I believe it's connected to the tiers. It has begun then, Zarek said grimly. The harvesters have found a way into your reality. Harvesters? Garcia asked sharply. Ancient entities that exist between dimensions. They seed developing worlds with knowledge of the drive, then wait for that species to build it. Each activation weakens the barriers between realities until they can break through. Hill stepped forward. Why would they target us? They feed on energy, all forms of energy. Life, technology, even the energy bound in matter itself. Zarek paused. Your species was ideal for their purposes. Innovative enough to develop the technology quickly, but not cautious enough to question its origins. Walsh spoke up. Can they be stopped? Yes, but it will require cooperation. We have faced this before, long ago. We know how to seal the breaches, but we need your help. 6 hours later, an unprecedented joint operation was underway. The Harmony had docked with the Horizon, and teams of human and alien scientists worked side by side. Porter stood with Zarek, examining a modified version of the dark energy drive. So instead of creating tiers, this will seal them? Correct. By reversing the polarity of the dark energy field, we can collapse the breaches. But we must act quickly. Each moment allows the harvesters to pull more of themselves into your reality. In another section of the ship, Walsh briefed a mixed team of human and alien pilots. The modified ships will approach the tear near Europa. Once in position, they'll activate the reverse drive simultaneously. What about the Defiant? Asked one of the Earth pilots. Walsh's expression darkened. If any survivors are found, rescue is priority 1. But we have to assume he didn't need to finish. Everyone understood the stakes. President Hill addressed the United Nations once more, this time with Zarek beside her. We face a threat greater than any in human history, she said firmly. The Galactic Council has offered their help, and we have accepted. I call on all nations to cease dark energy drive tests immediately and contribute to the joint defense effort. Many nations agreed right away. Others hesitated, suspicious of the aliens' true motives. A few, still believing they could gain advantage, continued their drive tests in secret. With each new activation, more tiers opened across the solar system. And through each tier came the harvesters. The joint fleet approached Jupiter with caution. 10 ships in all, 3 alien and 7 human, including the Horizon with Walsh in command. Multiple breaches detected, reported the science officer. The largest is still near Europa, but it's grown. Nearly 500 meters across now. Walsh studied the tactical display. And the Defiant? Still there, sir. But changed. The harvesters appear to be using it as a base of operations. Through the view screen, Walsh could see the Defiant. The once proud ship was now covered in a strange crystalline growth that pulsed with sickly light. Around it, space itself seemed distorted, as if reality was having trouble maintaining its shape. Life signs? He asked, though he dreaded the answer. Inconclusive. There's something aboard, but it doesn't register as human anymore. Walsh made his decision. All ships move into position, prepare to activate the modified drives on my mark. The fleet formed a circle around the largest breach, each ship equidistant from the others. Through the tear, Walsh could see something. Not stars or planets or anything familiar, just a swirling chaos that hurt his eyes. Drive charging at 70%, reported his engineer. On the secure channel, Porter's voice came through. Greg, the readings are off the charts. The breach is expanding faster than we calculated. Can we still close it? I think so, but... Her voice cut off as a massive energy surge rippled through space. From the Defiant, tendrils of that strange crystalline material shot outward, targeting the nearest ships. Evasive action, Walsh ordered, but it was too late for two of the vessels. The tendrils attached to their hulls and immediately their power levels began to drop. The harvesters are adapting, Zarek warned from his ship. They recognize the threat. Drive at 90%, called the engineer. Walsh watched as more tendrils reached toward them. We're not going to get another chance at this. All ships prepare to activate on my mark. The crystalline growth continued to spread, reaching for the horizon now. Through the comms, Walsh could hear the desperate calls from the other ships as their systems failed one by one. Drive ready, said the engineer. Walsh took a deep breath. All ships activate now. 10 drives engaged simultaneously, creating a complex web of energy that surrounded the breach. The tear began to vibrate, its edges fluctuating wildly. From the Defiant came a silent scream that somehow every person felt in their mind. The tendrils thrashed violently, then began to retract. It's working, Porter exclaimed. The breach is starting to close. The tear shrank visibly, pulling the strange matter back into the chaos beyond. The Defiant, now more alien than human, was dragged toward the collapsing breach. Should we try to recover the ship? Asked the tactical officer. Walsh shook his head, sadly. That's not our ship anymore. As the breach closed to a pinpoint, the Defiant was pulled through, taking the harvesters with it. In a final flash of light, the tear sealed completely. One by one, the other breaches throughout the solar system began to close as well, the modified drives effect cascading through space-time. Walsh leaned back in his chair, exhaustion washing over him. Get me Dr. Porter. Her face appeared on his screen, tired but smiling. We did it, Greg. For now, he replied. But they'll try again, won't they? From behind Porter, Zarek stepped into view. Yes, the harvesters are patient. They will find another developing world, plant the knowledge of the drive again. Unless we stop them first, Porter said. I've been thinking. The drive technology can be modified, not just to close breaches, but to open them safely. We could go to their reality, find a permanent solution. Walsh raised an eyebrow. That sounds dangerous. Extremely, agreed Zarek. But not impossible. With humans and the Council working together. Walsh looked out at the stars, thinking of all that had happened in the short time since humanity had reached for them. The galaxy had indeed been sleeping peacefully before Earth's nightmare arrived. But perhaps that nightmare had awakened something else too, a new alliance that could face the darkness beyond the stars. Well, he said, with a tired smile, I guess the real adventure is just beginning.